Greetings, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2, the 1% Club. Hope everyone's doing well today. Thank you again for all the great comments. I think we've jumped up to 517 already as far as subscribers go, so thank you. I feel very blessed. Thank you to Nicholas. We're going to talk a little bit about his made comments. Willie made, our great viewer Willie made some great comments, and Curvy made an interesting comment too, and he asked a question. So we'll kind of talk about all those today as well. So please go ahead and subscribe, comment, like, and let's kind of get into these a little bit. So Curvy asked, thought was the second part of the last video was very inspirational, and I hope it is. I mean, I hope you guys are getting something out of it and doing it to get some information. He wants me to kind of give my first name, so I will do that when I get to a goal. Like, let's say 1,000 days. Okay, so in about 200 days, I'll give my first name. I may even change my name a little bit from Vigor Warriors 2 to something else. But so that'll be a goal. I want to make sure it's worthwhile when I do that. All right, but thank you, my friend, as always, for commenting. I want to comment a little bit on two different things. One was a viewer, Wiley, yesterday, and the other comment was Nicholas. So both of them made comments about the journey they're taking. So let's kind of go over in a little bit and talk about this, because I'm going to name this one, I think. It is your journey, and you have to kind of go a different path than other people. And the reason I say that is because we all have different things that we're facing. I had, like I said, 40 some years of doing a lot of things going back and forth. Now, being 61, I've had, I don't know if it's called a pleasure, but I've had the experiences of almost experiencing every type of situation that you can experience. And so I've kind of gone through a lot of those things, which is why I feel very strongly about the Bible and how practical and accurate the story is about human nature. And the issues with addiction and things like that. So we talk about a lot of these type of things, a lot of things to kind of keep in mind. Now, in Wiley's case, Wiley's making some good comments about having a strength to be able to do a long-term type of semen retention, and be able to go ahead and kind of continue to do those things and have different beliefs, but be able to kind of have a strong semen retention foundation. Now, of course, semen retention is the most important disciplinary thing. But you also have to understand that the temptation of things are out there. No matter who you are, your temptations are going to be different, perhaps, than others. And this kind of connects a little bit to what Nicholas is saying as well. And the question becomes, and he talks about, his question was talking about whether letting go, releasing is okay. And when we talk about this, the key is that there's going to be times where you're going to release. I mean, just by a little bit of your at night, and you're doing, you're having dreams, you may release, right? You may do this, you may choose to do this with the person that you love and you want to have children with, okay? I mean, we're not talking about not releasing. We're really kind of talking more about the fact that you're on a life journey and understanding the importance of not releasing and getting back to your equilibrium of yourself. Now, not everybody, and I was one of those people in that category, not everybody is as strong that can go ahead and say, okay, I can do these things and then not fall back into the addiction. The devil is very wily. The evil one is very wily, my friends. And this is why I say you have to be really careful. My experiences over the years is the Bible statement is true. You have to flee from temptation. try to get involved in other things. And I think both Wiley and Nicholas, they recognize it's important to get involved in other things and do that, and that's good. My only concern, my friends, when I see things and people say, well, it's okay to do this, it's okay to do that, be careful, okay? It is your journey. You're the one that has to kind of decide, can I deal with it? I thought I could, and I couldn't. So maybe you're a better man than me. It's very possible. But the thing is that when you're in these situations, it's very easy for the devil to turn up a notch, and now you're only doing this today, and then it gets a higher extreme. You think, okay, I'm okay doing this, and it's going to be okay. My warrior friends, I would not recommend it. I would be as hard-nosed as you can. Are there times that you're going to have faults with monk mode and things like that? Yes, the thoughts are going to be there. The thoughts will come, because evil one will not let you go that easily. They're going to continue battling you maybe till the end of your days. But the key to a lot of this is changing your lifestyle, and that this does not become that important. So you have to look at a fundamental reason why you're doing this, why you're releasing. Now that goes back to the question you have to think to yourself. Is releasing something that's important to me? Now, we have been indoctrinated thinking that releasing is a healthy thing to do. We've been indoctrinated that this is what you need to do to become a man. And so what we end up doing then is we've been ingrained in our thoughts that this is how I should act, how I should behave. Now, I don't believe that any longer, because I've seen 810 days in a row of being able to control those behaviors to the point where I've kept a lot of 99% of my nutrients in. I think there's always leakage that you have to account for. So those things will probably always will happen. But I feel unbelievable compared to the way I felt before. Very little anxiety, very little, a lot stronger focus, a lot more energy. I know both Nicholas and I think Wiley was talking about that doing a couple weeks and there wasn't a lot of effect to it. I would really recommend, guys, going hard mode. You will see an effect. If you stop thinking about sex and you stop thinking about women and you stop thinking about this, your life will change. You will refocus on other important things in your life. And as a result of that, you're not going to have time. Your brain will be rewired. And guys, this is what you need to do, in my opinion. Rewire. In order to be successful with this, I had to rewire myself. Now, is there times that those thoughts come through? Yes. There's times that I'm battling this? Yes. Of course, always. You're always going to battle. Especially when you had, like my case, 47 years of back and forth types of things. But part of the reason I'm doing the videos is try to help you guys not to get into that side, that longevity of a problem. Because it's harder and harder to take back yourself. But if you have that habit that you can take back and say, no longer am I going to be kind of a victim of this, I'm going to allow this to dictate my life, then you're better. The trouble with it all is that most of us, and I and especially, thought I was invulnerable, that there's no way that I would fall into addiction. That's just for other people. But that happens because because you accept what happens as being normal. You accept that this is normal behavior, and now you're more willing to accept the next level and the next level. So yeah, maybe it's today you're just watching one picture on a television screen, right? And you happen to release. Well, then the next time, now you need more excitement, so now you find something else, maybe a second picture or a third picture. or a more graphic picture, or all of a sudden now something that's a lot more deviant. And so now what happens is you continue to get up that ladder, and before you know it, you're so high that you can't come back down. And you don't even realize you're so high, but now you're becoming more and more entwined into the devil's thoughts and ideas. And they're controlling you. You have to really be careful. That's why a lot of stuff goes through the eyes. You have to check it. You have to stop it. Is it easy? No, man, it's not easy at all. No way. This is why this is the toughest thing in our society, because there is, in my opinion, a underneath kind of plan that's out there to make men weak. And part of that weakness comes from women, in the way of pictures of women and all these other things that we talk about and releasing energy. So I am really grateful to Wiley and to Nicholas for talking about these things, because I think they both are accurate in statements they make. And your lifestyle does make a big difference when it comes to what type of temptations you're going to have. Now, you have to determine your journey. Each one of us is going to have different challenges on the journey. The key thing to look at is, are you focusing your life on this pursuit of pleasure? You know, do you just sit around all day long losing energy? Or are you really have an active type of role in accomplishing things, doing things, and that is a second, third, fourth thing that you think about? It'll happen at times, but it's not something that dominates your life. There are people out there, my friends, that cannot even operate, can't even get out of the house, because all they're doing all day long is releasing energy, watching the internet, watching TV. That's all they're doing. It's just addictive as video games. And when you get into that pattern, now all of a sudden it's very hard to break. So I thought I was very strong. I thought that would never happen to me. And so 47 years of all that, I realized I was not very strong at all. In fact, we're all vulnerable to those type of things. This is why I recommend, and this is my recommendation from my end of it after all these years, is you try to go as hard monk mode as possible. Now, everything is a step-by-step process to me. So, as you do this, as things go on, you've got to take one step at a time. But eventually, at some point, you're just going to have to say, we're going cold turkey. We're basically saying, no more of this. And that's what I ended up finally having to do. But again, you got to build up to it. And if you have to build every couple weeks, if you have to kind of go longer than that, you keep moving further and further into that. So I think some excellent practical questions that both Wiley and Nicholas and Kirby ask about in some ways. I appreciate that. And like I said, no matter what the comments are, I think it's great to talk about these things, because we're all learning. I'm learning as much as you guys. I just happen to have experiences of 60 years, so that's kind of why I'm trying to provide these in this channel. But I think certainly the one thing you have to really be cautious of, and that's really the power of this evil one. A lot of us don't think there's really an evil one. We just think it's kind of a myth, a legend type of thing. It's not really a person, it's a spirit, and there really is no spirits. We can't see spirits. But what drives people is that innate force you cannot describe. And it's not Jesus Christ. To my mind, it's the opposite. Because it is leading to your destruction. It's kind of tempting you. That's why the story of the apple, Adam and Eve, is so relevant to every day in the world. I mean, it's not Adam and Eve literally, but it's a story of temptation. And are you tempted then to give up everything that the Lord has given you to follow the evil one? Because it won't just stop with one picture, one apple. It'll continue going until now you have forgotten about God, and now you are siding with the devil and doing a lot of things that people do when it comes to behaviors of the devil. And that's really the goal, guys. The devil, in my mind, purpose is to get you away from Jesus Christ or your God. And they're doing that to try to get you to think differently and not to worship the God who created you. And it's easy to do that if you get pulled away all the time from things that you're doing. Okay? And I think that's a very possible thing that's going to happen if you continue to focus on things that make life difficult and are tempting to you. And I think that's the whole key to it. So I think, my friends, the whole key to what we're talking about here is to really focus on your journey, your temptation, and trying to figure out, how can I deal with this temptation? How can I deal with my temptations? And be strong. Remember, this is your life journey. The rest of your life is going to be on this. If you're committed to this, then it doesn't matter some of the other choices you've made. You will be closer to God, and God will lead you. I'm not in no position to judge anyone, because my life has been a struggle when it comes to many, many things. And I've made a lot of wrong choices. So I'm the last person that's going to be able to say anything. But I will say this, that the more I'm doing this, the longer the streak is, the closer I feel to God, and the closer I feel like I'm learning about what life is about. And that's why I feel so grateful and glad about what I'm doing. All right, guys. Once again, thank you, Kirby. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you, Wiley. Great comments. Please keep commenting. And good luck to you guys. Continue success. And we'll talk again. God bless you guys, and battle on.